Get Up Morning.
Hello.
Hi.
We have guests.
All right, guys. It's Get Up Mornings. I'm Erica Campbell, and today we are talking about appropriate ways to interact with law enforcement. Earlier this month, Tyree Nichols was on his way home when he was pulled over by the police, and unfortunately, it ended with him being fatally beaten by the officers. Here with us today with tips on how to avoid negative run-ins with the police is Officer Bruce Griggs. He's a retired law enforcement officer for the Metro Atlanta area and the founder of Operation Correct Start. Good morning, Officer Bruce Griggs. How are you, sir?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Griggs.
So you say...
How you doing, Griffey?
You already know, man. That's LaGrange's finest, Erica. LaGrange's finest.
Very nice. Very nice. You say the first word spoken by either the officer or the citizen may determine the tone of the whole encounter with law enforcement. Explain what this means.
Thank you all for inviting me, but, a lot of times when people put that badge on and they take that on as a career, not only is it dangerous, it's a difficult profession. Police, when they stop some people, their main goal is to get home alive and free. Mm-hmm. A lot of officers are killed each year, but now a lot of citizens are starting to be killed each year. And what people need to understand initially is that police officers usually have a defensive posture until they make sure that they can control the situation. And when you're stopped by a law enforcement officer and you're questioned and you're detained, we've got to start making sure that we start off with respect instead of disrespect. When I say that those first words spoken out of your mouth, I'm talking about almost every incident where we've had an African American get killed by law enforcement. And the first words might have could quell that situation totally. But for some reason, we come out with disrespect, and we got to be able to show. I'm not saying any time that the police in a lot of these situations that they've been right in their actions, but the main goal of what we do this workshop called The Law and You is to teach people how to get home alive and free.
I understand that, and yes, and I agree. Yes, we want to get home safe and free. That is the goal. But when you see other nationalities spit in their face, scream at them, get out of the car, just go crazy, and they make it home, it just ain't fair. Now, do you want to be fair or do you want to be alive? I get it. I understand.
Right.
But how do we process that, sir? How do we process? And I know many members that are listening, they did everything right, and they still got a ticket, and they still got arrested when they didn't do anything wrong in the first place.
One, I think we got to recognize that policing in America was we wasn't a part of that plan. So we should understand that when we deal with that situation, we've got to do it. Yeah, other nationalities spit in their face. They curse them out. They drive away. They run away. But if you black, you can't do that. We've got to make sure that we get that message out through the churches, through the streets. We can't act like them. Not with the police, because we end up dead. Yeah, they end up going to jail. Yeah, your family end up suing for millions and millions of dollars. But we've lost a life. The goal is to get home alive and free.
Griff?
Being a father of two sons that are 29 years old and having to watch that video, and this is not the first video, and this is not the 10th video or the 20th video, right. And what about the people that do everything? We do everything. We put our hands on the steering wheel. We put our driver's license on and we still get faded. Now, I know you're not the boss of all the police in the world, and you were excellent policing in Atlanta and your programs that you had, man. But we are being mistreated, dog. And if it wasn't cameras there, what about the ones that didn't have the cameras?
Right.
You spot on with that, Griff. Black men getting beat by the police, especially the black police, that ain't nothing new. That ain't new to us, man. Look at, I'm more upset. This reminds everyone of Rodney King, except for they look just like the victim now.
Right.
They look just like the victim.
So
let me say this,
ahead.
I want to make one point, and I want you to take. I'm sorry to interrupt your conversation, but saving black men is not on the agenda of America. If we don't do something about it, we're gonna be extinct pretty soon.
Wow. It's a tough conversation, family, but we need to have this. We are grateful to have you here with us today. And I was wondering if you would stick around and maybe take some calls from some of our listeners, because we want you to actually tell us what should we be doing. What does the interaction look like? Go ahead and tell us how we should respond.
Let's say that, Erica, that you're stopped on the street by a police officer. Well, in the black community, most times if the police pull up on you, what do we all do? Run. The first thing when you're young, you do and you see the police is run. We got to teach our young people that they can't do that. If you haven't done anything, there's no need for you to run. If they stop you on the street, answer all the questions. Remember, you're not required to testify against yourself. You have what's called Fifth Amendment rights. But one of the main things is don't have such a smart mouth. Don't walk away from the police officer. Don't do that. If he's starting to behave inappropriately, report that misconduct to his supervisor. And, if he has a reasonable suspicion that you might have an illegal weapon or a illegal substance, you are subject to what's called a pat-down search. Let him do it. If you don't have anything, but we got to make sure that we understand we can't act like everybody else in the world. If you're a black person, you can't conduct yourself the same way that other nationalities do when the police stop them, or you will end up dead.
I hear you, and I know it's the truth. But for all the people that did the right things and are still dead, we're trying to figure out the process. Would you mind taking some calls? 877-242-2426. If you have a call or comment for Officer Griggs, call us 877-242-2426. It's Get Up Mornings, y'all. Let's get through this together.
You're listening to Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell.
Here's how we